Hello and welcome. I'm your host Elizibar, and DC 100-page comic giant Swamp Thing number 6. And this is a depressing issue. Everything about it's depressing because every one of these stories ended up with the hero, whoever the hero was in the story, in a bad way. One of them really made me mad. Alright, let's start off with the Swamp Thing story. Swamp Thing is busting through to rescue whatever her name is. That's how little she matters to the story, even though she's the linchpin of the story. And the bad guy here, he just talks a lot. A whole lot. He just keeps talking. These solid black backgrounds, these are great for putting out art really quick. These pages must have been turned in pretty fast, man. That's all I gotta say. The reading was only half interesting. Some of the stuff was kind of cool, like get this 2-page spread of her personal history. And we learn about the bad guy and what he is. And apparently he's like the manifestation of nothingness or dark matter or something like that. It's not 100% clear what the Baron is, but his goal is evil, naturally. He's going around collecting doors to magical realms. Well, not really magical, that's not the right term. Doors to the foundational bits of the universe. And he wants to get them all together so he can destroy everything. It's a very aspirational goal. We're going to kind of leave off what really happens in that story, because if I just start showing you pages, you're going to see what's going on, and it's going to spoil everything real quick, and I don't want to do that. It was all right. It was very wordy, very ready, but the art was kind of cool in places. So I'm going to give that yeah, that was okay. The news story, it was okay. We get to Animal Man, and we'll just flip open to this. Like, you can see, things aren't going particularly well for anybody. You got the rampaging rot monsters just rolling in like a boss. Good job, by the way, buddy, for summoning them all these all these animals to fight for you. It didn't work out right. We have like 2 artists working on this. There's a whole bunch of artists working on this book, so the art's not consistent. Like, you got some of this stuff that's this, like, how issue 1 looked, and then you've got this other stuff here that looks more like a normal comic, and it just feels weird that we're changing away from old style. The kid's complaining about his phone being dead and yada yada yada. Twitter. Now, one thing that doesn't make any sense. All right. Okay, so we passed a town a couple miles back. Why don't you go get us some food? Why don't you turn the RV around and drive it back into the town, save everybody like a half hour walking, get the food, and then continue driving? That's not what they do. That's not what they do. And we're going to spoil the heck out of this because I can't complain about it without spoiling it. So naturally, they walk. And I kind of like some of this stuff. Like, they have to call the cops, da da da. We need food. Not junk food. Real food. Got it? Good. Hurry up. Starving. Don't forget to get socks some food. Not the cheap dry stuff either. Talking Cat is currently the best character in this book. So they walk. They're walking. And I almost forgot about this bit. So kids like sees the ladies. He's like, hubba, hubba. Look at that shirt. Yeah, it's an Animal Man shirt. No, that's my dad. Yeah, right. There you are. Cliff, we gotta go. That was the Justice League. They need us. Thanks, Dad. That was awesome. I know. Aw, Dad moment. You know, when you can just swoop in, save somebody, 1, from humiliation, and two, humiliate a bunch of other people in a totally non, like, direct, making fun of them kind of way. It's awesome. So anyway, they fly back. The RV's sitting there. So let's just put this situation out here, all right? I need objects. Let's say you are here. You're trying to get to the little cap. somewhere. All right? And now, here's the problem. You're trying to get from here to here, but you're sleeping. While you're sleeping, tidal wave of death creeping up on you. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen in that situation where you've decided that instead of taking shifts and driving 24/7, you're going to stop and everyone's going to sleep all night? What do you think is going to happen? Now, it does lead to a really cool dream sequence I'm not going to show you because you should buy the book. But also, it leads to. I'm flipping to it. Sorry. Oh, look! Death is right outside. Good job, Buddy Baker. You completely failed in every possible way. You failed. You're an idiot. Idiot. Your wife is an idiot. The grandma that you rescued is an idiot. Get in your RV and drive. You have 3 people that can drive. Maybe 4, depending on how old that kid is. He's like 14 or something, right? Just let him be behind the wheel. It's fine. It's an RV. It's not like you're pulling a trailer. Take shifts. 4-hour shifts. You're on, you drive, you get off, you go rest on the couch or whatever in the back. Somebody else drives, and you don't stop driving. You're looking for help. They're talking about, should we go see the Flash in Central City? You know, maybe you can get the Justice League to help us. Should we go do this? Should we go do that? Should we go here? Should we go there? Should we go find Alec Holland? What do you think you should do, you idiots? You should never have stopped. I wouldn't have stopped, and I'm not a superhero. Like, if there were 2 or 3 people that can drive that car, you can darn well better believe that if I'm being chased by a bunch of zombie bears, I am not stopping my car. Idiots. This is terrible. This is the Swamp Thing story. There's just honestly, there's a whole lot of just kind of nothing that goes on. Like, there's one thing that happens, and it's the lady friend that Alec Holland had getting taken over by the rot. And that's all that happens. That's the entire story. And there's some cool looking art to it, but that's the entire story. This looks pretty grody and sick, right? I love it. Contrast this to like green flower edged pages we saw earlier when we were getting like stories about the Swamp Thing and all that. Look here how it's like chunks of flesh that have been ripped apart or something. It's gross. It's awesome, but it's gross. That's really basically, to sum up, that's how I feel about it. It's awesome but gross. Actually, it's kind of boring because there's too much talking. It ends on a cliffhanger. All these stories have ended on a cliffhanger so far. Finally, we went to the Shadow Pact where we have lots of really sparsely drawn backgrounds. So we kind of pick up from the last issue where Enchantress saved Ragman and bound up Blue Moon or whatever her name is. I really like that the magical effect is just this solid color. There's no grading or shading over it. I thought that was nice. But look, we ain't got any backgrounds hardly, and that's super lame. This art's kind of simple, but it's got kind of a not quite it's not quite animated. Like, this looks like this is almost like animation or something. You know what I mean? Maybe you don't know what I mean, but I know what I mean, and that's what really matters. It's kind of endearing to me, even though it's also kind of lame. Anyway, this other dude shows up. He's like the Wild Hunt. He's got like dogs, and they fight and stuff, and he turns people into the dogs, and the fighting continues. There he is, turning people into dogs, and boom, you can see here the fighting's going to continue. I can tell you the fighting is resolved. Meanwhile, there's chatting in the Nightmaster's bar because the Seal Boy has taken over, and the Nightmaster's like, "But this is my place," and won't just kill him because he's a good guy, and that's not what good guys do. Good guys talk when they shouldn't, and that's it, man. So we've got like, let's see, an okay, a you're stupid, a grody and okay, and then the Shadow Pact story. I didn't. I need to talk more about the Shadow Pact story. I liked it for what it was. It's just a quick little actiony story. There's some okay art. The art needs more work. The writing was fine. I don't know those characters' voices very well, so I don't really know how they all sound. But Detective Chimp was complaining about not getting to smoke the whole story. And for that, I got to give that one a yeah, I liked it. So we got like a okay, so we'll call that a half. We got a zero, we got another half. So and we got one like. So it's like 2 out of 4 stories worth of material in this book are actually worth paying for. The quality of Swamp Thing has apparently nosedived right into the swamp, and it's now being grown over by vines and stuff. So hopefully, issue 7. Oh, God, I'm dying. All of a sudden, hiccup. Hopefully, issue 7 rolls around, and what we get is a new Swamp Thing emerging back to glory. Because there for a couple issues, this stuff was super dope. That Animal Man stuff just blew me away. Like, I was not expecting it to be that good because I don't remember the couple of issues I read back in the day being that good. And it got me hooked. And then this issue, the stupidity of the main characters took me completely out of it. That's my word. I'll see you next time. 4.99. This is hard to beat. This is like the least kid friendly of the 100-page giants, uh, which I guess is why they put 4 terrifying adventures right there on the cover. So you know, like don't give this to a kid if they're going to be terrified. But I kind of liked it. I'd still say it's probably worth the 4.99. There's a lot of content in here. Your mileage may, can, and should vary. You should have a different opinion than me after you read something, even if it's just subtly different. Because if we're thinking the exact same thing, all of us are thinking the same thing. I don't know that we're thinking it all. We're just reading stuff to each other. All right, I'm going to shut up. Well, have a great day. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Bye bye.